Hello and welcome to this video on SpecFlow plus LivingDoc. In this video, we are going to do an overview of SpecFlow LivingDoc and also see how it fits in the team's behavior-driven development journey. So let's jump right into it. The first thing we have to get out of the way is what actually is LivingDoc and how does it fit into your BDD journey. To understand this better, let's look at one of the key goals of BDD. The main goal of BDD is to improve the collaboration between all stakeholders involved in developing software and form a shared understanding amongst them. The key word here is shared understanding. And this shared understanding is only achievable if there is a single source of truth. Now you might ask yourself, how do I create this single source of truth and share it with all the stakeholders, some of which may not be technical users? Well, that's where SpecFlow LivingDoc jumps in and fills the gap. LivingDoc is the single source of truth that holds all the examples formalized into Gherkin scenarios and automated for continuous validation in one place. It therefore represents an always up-to-date specification of the system behavior. Make sure to check out our website linked below to learn more about behavior-driven development and some tips on writing good Gherkin files. There are two ways to generate LivingDoc. First option is to use our independent generator. This command line tool allows you to create and generate standalone LivingDoc HTML files with no external dependencies so you can share them with your team as you wish. Second option is to use our LivingDoc Azure DevOps plugin. If your team uses Azure DevOps, then we highly recommend you to use the plugin, as it blends in seamlessly with Azure DevOps, making sharing and working with LivingDoc a breeze. So now that we know what LivingDoc is, let's take a look at a typical development journey and how LivingDoc fits in it. In this example sprint, we are developing the shopping cart feature of an online bookshop. As we are practicing behavior-driven development, let's assume the discovery and formulation phase for the user stories in this example sprint are already done, and we already have our feature files ready. There is also a nightly build setup that generates LivingDoc. Every day before the stand-up, as the product owner, I open up the latest version of LivingDoc and look at the work in progress. First thing I notice is the existing functionalities that have already been automated, as they all have a pass mark next to them in green. Therefore, I know book details, home screen, and searching for books are already done. The shopping cart feature which we want to work on in this sprint is in gray, indicating it is not yet completed. When I click on it, I notice two interesting things. One is that the mockup of this functionality is already here, and there is a link within the document taking me to another feature, in this example, the search function. These are made possible due to the fact that LivingDoc has Markdown support, which enables you to embed images and also links to other feature files within your document to help readers find all the information they need in one place. Let's take a quick look at how this is done in the feature file. We can see here in the feature file that Markdown can be placed between the feature and the scenario. Note the location of the linked feature file is defined by your folder structure. Same applies to the embedded image. The path to the image can be specified as a relative or absolute path. You can also embed images stored externally, such as on a website. The outstanding work is now clear to everyone and it's crunch time. The team proceeds to start working on binding the steps defined in the feature files, and we move on to day 2. Okay, so it is now day 2. Again, first thing I do today before the daily stand-up is to open the latest version of LivingDoc and see what the team's progress has been so far. I can see some automation has already been implemented, as they are in pass or fail status, but there are still some pending in gray. If I'm looking for a quick overview, I can click on the Analytics tab here to see a quick summary of features, scenarios, and steps. The step summary also shows me the number of unbound steps. We go over the work done so far, and the team informs me that all the unbound and pending steps will be implemented by this afternoon. So I run the generator again this afternoon, and I can see all steps are now executing with some pass and fail results. Note that you can see the duration of each execution as well. Again, I check the Analytics tab and I can see that there are no unbound steps this time, and the team has delivered as promised. We are now at day 3 of the sprint, and one of the stakeholders in the project needs a bit of clarification around the simple search function of the bookshop. To find what he's looking for, I'm going to use the keyword lookup function and look for the keyword simple search. LivingDoc then filters my files and also highlights the keywords I looked for. I can see here the simple search scenario outline, and the LivingDoc preview option allows me to preview the different parameters that were specified in the examples table in the feature file. The stakeholder then asks me what were the original acceptance criteria for this example. Given LivingDoc is the one-stop shop for all the information you need, it allows you to link your feature or scenario to the actual work item behind it. These links are tagged during the initial setup of LivingDoc, and as you can see, when you click on them, it takes you to the work item you specified, in this example in Azure DevOps. This handy feature allows quick navigation between LivingDoc and your work item tracking systems. Make sure to check the LivingDoc documentation page to learn how to set up these tags. Today in the afternoon, I also have a meeting with a group of not-so-technical shareholders, and I don't want to show the test results as my team is still working on it. So I use the generator to generate a LivingDoc page without test results, or I can simply use this toggle to turn the test results on or off. At the end of my meeting, the shareholders request access to the LivingDoc page. There are many ways to share LivingDoc, given it's a standalone HTML file. You can send it via any file sharing application such as SharePoint, host the generated HTML, or if you and your team use Azure DevOps as your Agile planning tool, there is a dedicated Azure DevOps plugin for LivingDoc. Let's take a quick look at the Azure DevOps plugin. The Azure DevOps plugin has some extra features such as the share button that copies a link to that exact feature or scenario to your clipboard, which you can then share. There is also a branch and repo selector with the option to also download LivingDoc locally if you wish to. You can also read more about how to set up and use the Azure DevOps plugin on our website linked below. It is day 4 of the sprint now and the last day. I open up the latest version of LivingDoc and notice everything is in green and in pass status. I then check over the Analytics tab and notice there is a binding implemented but no scenario is using it. I bring this up in the daily stand-up and the developers inform me that it will be fixed by this afternoon. I regenerate a LivingDoc in the afternoon and check for the unused step definition. I can now see that every step definition is used in at least one scenario. This brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to check our website to learn more about SpecFlow and how it can help you and your team on your behavior-driven development journey.